Chef go. Yeah, look, I'm a bad mother, ooh, you better watch your mouth. People know I bring it home, they be betting the house. LL Cool J, I mean I'm in this bitch.
On this day, I see clearly everything has come to light. Yes, I'm quoting Edge's theme song. You're damn right I cried at number 21 of the Royal Rumble. Screamed like a little girl, giddy as hell. It was glorious. And I'm sure a lot of other wrestling fans were doing the exact same thing I was. I know the guy on camera too was doing that. Welcome to the post-Rumble edition of Wrestling with Egos. However, you're listening to us, whether it be on our Anchor podcast, here watching us here on YouTube, Intergalactic Radio, or the B-side to Talk is Jericho. No, podcasts don't have a B-side, but that's why I'm making it up.
If It'd be a huge get if you think about it.
Jericho getting us, yeah, that would be a huge get. That would be massive. Be massive for his show.
I mean, we are huge rock stars.
God, yes. Thank you guys so much for being part of the show. My name's Patrick. I'm joined each and every week by my best friend, Brian. Feel free to chime in on all the madness of this week's show. You can hit both of us up on Twitter. I'm at Rant Mode On. Brian is at bcrego15. The email address for the show is wrestlingwithegos@gmail.com. Our Google repository where you can find highlights and little tidbits from each show that we have done from week to week can be found at bit.ly/withegos. And as always, no matter which social media platform you're watching or listening to this, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it, all that good stuff on YouTube. Click the bell so you can get the notifications to know when new content has been posted. Brian, my brother, first and foremost, I apologize for not being able to attend on Sunday. Car issues and house issues and issues and issues and issues. It's like what's your face in Lamb Chop? This is the song that doesn't end.
No worries, man. Had a great time watching the Royal Rumble. Lots to unpack this week. I'm looking forward to it. Also, had a great time last night. My school had their family fun night. It was a carnival theme this year. Nice. And your boy was in charge of the rollerball game. The one with the arcs where you got to get it to stop in between the two arcs, where if it doesn't go over the first one, you don't win. And if it goes over and comes back, you don't win.
Right.
Spoiler alert, the kindergartners and first graders cleaned me out of prizes. The adults and the middle school kids didn't win very much. I tried at the beginning of the night 15 times. I only was successful twice. So the kindergartners are going to be physics majors is what I'm saying.
The kindergartners and the first graders in your school district are basically a friggin' baller. And
they're going to work for NASA. It's great.
And the fourth, fifth, and sixth graders suck. They have a lot to they have you can go ahead and set the bar low on their expectations. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying, that's what you're saying. And if I'm coughing in fits of rage during this episode, I apologize. Still trying to kick this cough. It's been going on for almost a month now. It's ridiculous. But what's new in your neck of the woods? Pregnant pause. Oh, hey, what you got there? Looks like a...
We'll just say that it's a better indicator of when I decide to flip you off.
Okay.
Suffered a hand injury at work. Let's put it this way: with this hand, with the splints not there, I can't do this. I cannot ball up a fist. I can't even get to here. Yeah. My Friday was fun. So you're going to see a lot of
left-hand stuff.
As no on this show, you're going to see a lot of left-hand talking tonight. So if you see my arm moving out of frame and you see like a thumb, I'm not realizing that my left hand isn't in frame because I'm used to being able to just do this. And you know what? We'll just fix that. There we go. We'll just turn in this way, and there we go. But so much to unpack. Dude, let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
And we start each and every week with a segment that we like to call the good, the bad, and the ugly. Brian, may I?
The floor is yours, good sir.
My good, if you've known me, if you listened to last week's pre-Rumble show, it's not a surprise what my good is. The return of Edge. This is a guy that, for wrestling fans our age, Edge was the first big, massive star where we got to see the beginning and the end of his career. We got to watch him grow. We got to watch him evolve as a wrestler. We got to all be pissed off when he cashed in Money in the Bank for the first time, thinking that it was a mistake, and then having that all shoved in our faces when we're like, no, this dude's the real deal. And we all cried when he retired. Edge has always been one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. May not be considered the greatest, and he may never be a part of our GOAT discussions, but he's definitely one of my favorites. So when the buzzer went off at number 21 and you heard the phrase, "You think you know me?" Waterworks. I'm done. I am crying like a baby because my dude is back in the ring. This would be like if The Rock came back and Brian nearly craps himself. I was done. And I'm watching him make the entrance, and I see these black pods near the entrance in the background, and I'm like, oh my God, please let there be pyro. Please let there be pyro. And then he does the pause. And that dude, the camera angle that they did when he pulled his hair back and, he kind of looked up at the camera for a second because he never really does that. I was like, oh, that's gangster. And then throws him up. Pyro. I'm like, oh God, yes. Hits the ring, kills Dolph with a spear, kills Dash with a spear, and unfortunately injured AJ. Wasn't Edge's fault. AJ came out and said, no, I over-rotated on that one. I was trying to give him everything. And AJ dislocated the shoulder, which means he actually might miss Mania, which sucks.
True.
But let's fast forward 24 hours. We're going to get Edge and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Shut the hell up and take my money. I mean, oh my God, shut the hell up and take my money. Every last dime. I'm here for it. That's my good.
And we talk about Randy Orton a lot, and the way he works and stuff like that. These two guys have history together. They're going to have a great match. The psychology and the mind games have already started.
The match may not be a 5-star caliber masterpiece in the ring, but in terms of the ring psychology, it's going to be Hitchcock. And it's just beautiful because, for the love of God, man, we have a guy in the ring called the Viper, and the other guy is called the Ultimate Opportunist.
Yep.
This has money written all flipping over it.
Who's zooming who, as it were.
Exactly. And I guarantee you, if not next Monday night on Raw, the Monday afterwards, Edge is going to show up and get him some Randy Orton.
Yep.
How about you?
I have a 2-part good, because as we were discussing before we hit the record button, there's a lot of good all over the wrestling map this week.
So much goodness. Just a smorgasbord, a church Sunday afternoon potluck of goodness in wrestling. I mean, there's the mashed potatoes, and somebody brought pot roast, and somebody brought meatballs, and oh my Lord, somebody brought potato salad.
Let's go. Get you a plate. Part one.
2 plates.
Yeah. Part one of my good is that friend of show RJ got to bring his wife and his 2 oldest kids to the debut episode of AEW in Cleveland at the Wolstein Center. And I watched said episode Thursday night. I think I queued it up. And it was a solid episode. So they got to see a lot of good stuff happening. Lots of great matches. There was a good 6-man tag. There was a great segment with Jericho and Moxley at the very beginning. You know, got to see Cody Rhodes in action. Got to see, MJF in action. Well, sort of in action. He set the Butcher and the Blade, whoever they are, on. But the point is, I mean, RG got to take his family to see some good quality wrestling.
Yes.
And I'm glad to see he's raising them to be consumers of all of that content. That's my part one. My part two of the good is I have an early contender for match of the year. Friday, before I went out to school for the carnival night, I queued up Worlds Collide because I hadn't had a chance to watch it. Finn Balor and Ilya Dragunov was amazing, but the match of the night, I think.
Hang on, because I know what match you're going to, because you've already told me in our pre-show. But there's another match that you're not mentioning. Yeah, you mentioned Finn Balor's match with Dragunov, but sneaky good match was the NXT Cruiserweight Championship match.
That was ridiculous. Some good guys. And it's like you said, you told me last week you were looking forward to it because all 4 of those guys don't have similar.
No.
It's ground and pound versus aerial versus, lucha versus all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
It was an interesting clash of styles in a Fatal 4-Way, but you don't get to see that often.
And for the record, I've been screaming it for over a year. That purple strap on that Cruiserweight title was ugly as hell. They put that black strap on that thing. Oh, my God, that thing is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. Your candidate for match of the year, and I totally agree with you on this one, by the way.
DIY versus Mustache Mountain. It was a thing of beauty. And here's why I'm making the case for this match. In just under 20 minutes, I think was the match length. You had everything you ever wanted out of a tag team match. You had a healthy amount of respect among the 4 competitors. Because obviously these guys have traveled the world plying their craft and learning their trade and honing their skills. You had a lot of chicanery, we're going to get our entertainment in. And then when it got stiff, my goodness, it got stiff. And it's just everything. It's why we like the Rockers so much. It's why we like Edge Christian so much. It's why we like the Dudleys so much. It's why we like all these great tag teams of yesteryear. And it's why, quite frankly, Raw and SmackDown, it kills us when you don't accentuate tag team wrestling. When you just take a guy and put them together and call it a tag team. That's not really true, as it were.
Could you mean like Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, who are your reigning Raw tag team champions?
At the expense of AOP, who's in their faction. So
look, until Kofi found the New Day, how many different times was he tag team champion with somebody?
Yeah,
he was
a lot.
tag team champions with Evan Bourne. He was tag team champions with Truth. He was tag team champions with Punk.
Yep.
Kofi and somebody.
So for all of those reasons and myriad more, which I'm forgetting to list here, that match, if you haven't seen it, folks, get you on the network, queue up Worlds Collide, and skip right to Mustache Mountain and DIY. You will not be disappointed. And DIY's new shirt looks pretty cool too.
Yes, it does. I like it very much.
So that is my 2-part good for this week.
I have a 2-part bad and a 2-part ugly.
Oh my!
First, and I'll keep them short.
It's the extended cut of Good, Bad, and Ugly, ladies and gentlemen.
My first bad isn't bad. It's bad. As in Finn Balor as a heel. That's a bad man. I love it because it's Prince Devitt from New Japan with an edge. I mean, it's just nasty. And I love it. And I love the outside. I love the parking lot attack on Trent Seven to set up the match from Wednesday night, which turned out to be a really good match. Trent Seven
Yes.
for a chubby dude can move. He's fantastic in the ring, but that was awesome. My bad is criticism from, and sorry, I know there are some people that watch the show that are and are not this, but the AEW fanboys, because there are people that are viewing the television ratings, AEW versus NXT, and they think that's a win. AEW had more viewers than NXT. We won. We're winning every week. No, dude.
A little more to it than that.
First off, there's a little more to it than that. And secondly, why can't we just enjoy wrestling? I watch everything. I even watched Raw this week, mainly because I wanted to see not only Edge, but also the winner of the 2020 Royal Rumble, which we're going to get to in a minute, because damn. But these people that just go on and on about, AEW is so much better than NXT. Okay, it's your opinion. I disagree. Yes, I'm an NXT guy, but you know what? I still disagree. But that doesn't stop me from watching AEW. That doesn't stop me from wanting to support AEW. It doesn't stop me from loving AEW. There are some things about all wrestling shows that I like, I don't like, and some that, quite honestly, I just don't get. I don't get it. And I've been watching wrestling my entire life. That's bad. That's just bad. It's bad for the community. We as a wrestling fan community, and it's bad just in terms of being a fan. You're not a fan if you're doing that. You're a blowhard. You're no better than any of these assholes who scream either everything is Republican or everything is Democrat. It's okay to like both, dude. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
Pixie dust. It's all right. Chill. Chill the F out. It's going to be all right. Rant mode off.
Okay. For my ugly, since you just put something in your mouth and you're chewing on it. For my ugly, yeah, it's great. I am actually going to call myself out on the carpet for this one. It's been almost 3 weeks now since this happened, and I have been remiss to mention it on the show. And for that, I humbly apologize. And I do think it's ugly that I have not mentioned this on the show to this point. But we said a melancholy happy trails about 3 weeks ago to one Rocky Soulman Johnson. And everybody who knows me knows what a huge mark I am for The Rock. And I know for certain how much of an influence on The Rock's career his father was. So I humbly apologize for not mentioning it until now. I will be the latest to add my condolences to the Johnson family, and say that we appreciate Rocky for all of the things he provided to the wrestling business, becoming the first African-American tag team champions with Tony Atlas among them, and serving as a mentor to his son and many other wrestlers in and around his family, because his Samoan lineage goes back quite a bit. So
not only that, let's go ahead and get away from wrestling for a second. We'd also be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the passing of one of our generation's greatest athletes, one Kobe Bryant. He and his daughter Gianna and 7 other people lost their lives on Sunday in a helicopter crash. It sucks.
Yes.
Kobe, for my money, is here's where I'm going to draw heat. Kobe, in my opinion, is the greatest basketball player of this generation, not LeBron. It's Kobe. Kobe's a killer. LeBron's not. That's a different story for a different time and a different type of podcast that we used to do a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It was called Audibly Offensive Radio, and it was awesome. But Kobe was a killer. LeBron's not. I appreciate killers when it comes to basketball, baseball, football. I want someone on my team that can slit the throat of the other team and be the most dangerous guy out there. And that was 24. That was the Mamba every night. So, Kobe.
Agreed.
My ugly, it's a 2-parter, and both of them I think are stupid. I hate them both. Number one, and they're both on SmackDown. Number one, why in the name of Zeus's butthole did we go back to the dog food? We string Baron Corbin up same way we strung up Roman, handcuffs in the post. And I know the match was supposed to be loser eats dog food, and Corbin lost. Cool. But we got to do this. And now Corbin gets buried the way he did. Not just that, but there was the photo op at the end with the Usos, just like, and Roman saying they're like,
yeah.
I'm like, come on. The dog food thing is getting dumb. I mean, it is Lana, Lashley, Rusev, Liv Morgan, or Nightmare Collective dumb. And those two things, I think, are the two dumbest things in wrestling right now. Just STOP, stop. And the other one, I got a big problem with, and I think it's stupid. Why has the WWE Intercontinental Championship become an afterthought? This is a championship that used to mean that you were the anointed one.
Yeah.
You were next. You know, Brett had it. Look at when we were kids. Brian and I are in our 40s. So 20, 30 years ago, when you had the Intercontinental title, you were next. So here's a list really quickly of, and Brian's going to keep count, of people that won the Intercontinental title in our teenage to early 20 years. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Diesel,
Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, for the love of God. Let's see, Edge, Christian,
Rock.
The Rock, Steve Austin, Owen Hart,
Triple H.
Triple H. Wait. Some guy named Chris freaking Jericho.
Yeah.
I can keep going. Kofi's won it. The Miz won it. Dolph won it, but that's Dolph. Used to mean your time is coming soon.
Now
This
it's
is
another title being tossed around.
This is the groom. No, it's not even being tossed around. Nakamura's reign as Intercontinental Champion, I don't know. It lasted months, but you wouldn't know it.
Inconsequential.
Very inconsequential. Braun Strowman beating Shinsuke Nakamura on Friday as, you know, big of a moment as Mae Young giving birth to a hand. That monumental. That monumental as Kelly's combined Divas Championship reigns. I can keep going.
No, you don't need to.
Okay, I won't. Finish it up, buddy.
Well, that's I gave you my ugly already.
Oh yeah, I thought didn't you have a bad?
Yeah. I gave them all to you.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. My bad. Not paying attention. My hand hurts. That's title of this week's show. My hand hurts.
Duly noted.
Let's talk about Sunday, man. So many good things from the Royal Rumble. A lot of great matches, but let's start at the very end of the card with the Men's Royal Rumble. And I've heard it on many different outlets, whether it be WWE or Busted Open Radio or a couple different podcasts. It literally was a tale of two Rumbles.
Yes.
And and you can speak to the rest of the guys at your house from our group that were there on Sunday. Feel free to use their names. I'm sure they're not going to mind. If they do, we'll just tell them to bite it. But for me and Mrs. Rant Mode on watching it, it seemed like the first 13 guys, not counting Lesnar, but until Ricochet got in, it was just, okay, here comes somebody. Okay, here comes. It was boring. Not like CM Punk when he had the Straight Edge Society in there and was giving his sermon after he dumped everybody out of the ring, because that was somewhat entertaining. Brock's just standing there doing his little.
It's funny how you weren't there with our group like you normally are, but you perfectly characterized the mood in the room. You can only imagine how the Lovebird was feeling. In fact, that's when the Lovebird took off for the night.
Oh yeah, I can also. I was pissed.
Yeah, she had to. She works early on Mondays, so she apologized for skipping out, but she said, "I hate Lesnar and I'm leaving," and that sort of thing. So, but there was very little reaction to it either. I mean, Big Isaac and I were kind of keeping track, for the TL Hopper thing about who's eliminating the most people, and we're just like, okay, Braun Strowman's gone eliminated by Lesnar. Okay, I forget some of the people that came out early on, or right. Elias came out, he was eliminated by Lesnar and that sort of thing.
Kofi came out.
Yeah, that's where we thought, okay, maybe, but then they didn't even give Kofi a. That made a couple people upset. Wait a minute, I thought Kofi was supposed to have a escape of some kind.
Right. But here's where it gets interesting, because let's be honest, without that, the Rumble isn't as exciting as it ended.
Yes.
So Lesnar's gone through the first 13 guys. He's number 1, and then 2 through 14. All lunch. Ricochet comes out at 15. We are now halfway through the Rumble. Like, oh my God, okay. Ricochet just got his ass kicked on Monday, but with an F5, and then told Ricochet he wasn't scared. Ricochet springboards off the rope. Lesnar catches him. Well, crap. Here we go. Let's do more of this. Flings him off and just kind of stands there, and we're counting down again. Then the bagpipes hit, and I'm like, oh, crap. Here we go. And I loved it. Drew McIntyre marched his Scottish ass down to that ring he was just speed walking it. I mean, the only thing that he would have been Vince McMahon at that Royal Rumble where he was going to do Batista and Cena's ass a new one, except not doing this and also not blowing both quads. I mean, he was power walking that bitch with a purpose. Gets in the ring, and you can read his lips. I've been waiting a long time for this, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, here we go. Please let this be good. And then uppercut. Ricochet catches Lesnar south of the border. Claymore. Mad credit to Lesnar for one simple reason. 3.5 minutes. That's how long his big ass laid there on the floor.
Yeah.
He didn't move for almost 4 minutes. And every time McIntyre got a free moment, he turned around and looked right down at the ground, and still seeing Lesnar with stars over his head. The only other thing that I'll give Lesnar credit for is his reaction to Keith Lee. Because even though Lee didn't last in the ring, Lee made an impact. Because Keith Lee comes down to the ring, and general reaction like you would expect from him. The crowd's doing the basket, all that stuff, and it's awesome. Lesnar looks at Paul Heyman, and I'm gonna censor it a little bit because the squishy face, and has some of her friends over, and they're spending the night tonight watching Nightmare Before Christmas in the living room. So I'm not gonna say really bad words, but he looks at Paul Heyman and goes, "Who's this mother effer?" And I was
that was funny.
I was like, dude, really? And then they tie up, and then Lee, I can't remember what he did, but he knocks Lesnar on his ass.
Yeah.
And then Lesnar, you see Lesnar's eyes, and if you watch, he doesn't mouth it very pronounced like I am right now, or like his comment right before that. But you look just closely, he just goes, shit, holy shit. And I don't think that was an act. I think that was, whoa, I didn't realize this dude was that strong. So
I worried a little bit when the ring started to fill up, though, because you knew I wanted McIntyre to win.
Yeah,
you knew I wanted him to be the one to eliminate Lesnar. But when the ring started filling up with, Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins comes down with his group. For a moment, I thought, oh my goodness, they're gonna wreck the whole thing.
Oh, dude, when it came down to Roman, McIntyre, and that guy that came out at number 21.
Yeah, because it was Roman, Edge, Orton, Rollins, and McIntyre.
Yeah.
At the very end, after everybody else had gone off. And Rollins turns around and tries to curry favor with Roman Reigns. Come on, just one time, you and me. And I'm like, okay, we know how this is going to end.
Beautiful heel moment where the heel just come up, and I loved it. He gets dumped. And then Edge and Orton, they're like, teaming up, and it's just like, all right. And then Edge just dumped him like ultimate opportunist. What? He's like, I'm over here thinking, sucker, you just got the same way you would have got Edge if literally the physical positions would have been reversed. You would have dumped him just as quickly. Don't be surprised. Don't be pissed. Don't hate. But then Monday night, he hated it. Anyway, it came down to those last three. And you have Edge and Roman going against each other. And I start thinking, oh, no, they're going to botch this up. They are going to botch this up and give the win to Roman, but it'll be okay because Drew eliminated Brock from the Rumble, so we can still have our cake and eat it too. And I'm just like, oh, no. Roman and Edge end up on the outside. Edge gets dumped. Everybody starts thinking, oh, crap. Here it comes. This ain't going to be good. And then Claymore, pick up, fling him over the top rope. Done. Let me just go ahead and say it. Drew McIntyre, and I've been saying it since he came back, Drew McIntyre is one hell of a heel. Damn it, he's even better as a face.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, he's putting himself out there. He's having fun, but at the same time, he still gets to be that just insufferable badass.
Yeah. Devastating offense.
Yeah. He even got the countdown in the Rumble. 3, 2, 1. Just, whoever it was, I can't even remember, just ran his ass over with that Claymore. So it was damn good Rumble. Plenty of action, plenty of excitement, plenty of pops for the NXT guys. If they would have had the roof closed on Minute Maid Park when Edge came out, they would have blown the roof off the damn thing.
Yeah.
I would have killed to be there for the simple fact of just kind of like how RJ has talked about on this show, being in Orlando at WrestleMania when the Hardys returned. I would have loved to have been there and just felt that wall of sound. Because you had 40,000 people just straight up erupt.
Yes.
Also want to throw a big shout out to Roman and Corbin, because that Falls Count Anywhere match was really good. Normally, Falls Count Anywhere matches aren't that great because you lose the aspect of being able to bump inside the ring. But they made that actually action-packed. Because instead of trying to do wrestling moves, they tried to make it more like a Hollywood brawl. So
Right.
They found environmental ways to make the fight look good. What else stood out to you is in terms of either one of the Rumbles? Let's kind of segue into the Women's Rumble. Charlotte wins. I'm hearing a really interesting rumor about that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I don't like her. I don't like anything about her. Don't like her in-ring work. I don't like her gimmick. There's just something about her I don't like. But dang it, Bianca Belair was the star of the Rumble.
Yes, she was.
Woo! I mean, the woman is a powerhouse. But like I said, I cannot put my finger on it, dude, but there's just something about her I don't like. She doesn't. I find her annoying. I don't find her worthy. You know how I always talk about, if you're a really good heel, I expect you to make me want to pay to see you get your ass whipped. Even in NXT, we see it. Tommaso Ciampa as a heel. I want someone to kill you. The Undisputed Era. Well, they're just too damn good in the ring, and everybody's going to cheer because they're amazing.
Yeah.
Like the Grizzled Young Veterans. Those guys are irritating, but they're good.
Mm-hmm.
Balor is getting to the point where I want someone to kick his head in. And those are all doing a great job. Bianca Belair, I wouldn't mind seeing her work because she's always going to show off something of strength. But
there's not much beyond that.
No.
Yeah.
I don't like her. I don't like her mic work. I don't like her in-ring style. I hate the stupid hair thing. There's just something about her I don't like. Do you know what the rumor is that I'm hearing about Charlotte?
That she wants Shayna?
No.
What are you hearing?
Charlotte wants... The rumor is that after NXT TakeOver Portland here in a couple of weeks, Charlotte's going to show up on NXT to challenge Rhea Ripley.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be very awesome. Because what I'm hearing, word around the campfire, the rumor mill spinning and all that good stuff, is it's Bayley and Sasha. That's going to be a split up. And that's your SmackDown match. It's Charlotte and Ripley for NXT. And it's Becky and Shayna Baszler.
All awesome matches, I think.
Oh God, yes. So of those three, which one would you have to pick one? Which of those three would you most want to see?
Becky and Shayna.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Probably Becky, Shayna, Charlotte and Rhea, and then Sasha Bayley, mainly because we've seen it. Don't get me wrong. Every time we've seen it, it's been damn good, but we've seen it. My only hope is that Charlotte, if she's making the return to NXT, they're doing this to get Rhea super over, which I think we finally have an NXT women's superstar that we can get really over.
It's funny you bring up the Women's Rumble. I did enjoy it. I thought Baszler had a great showing. I thought Bianca Belair had a great showing. But when you pick up the mail on Monday, your royalty check will be in it, because I'm about to go rant mode on. I'm gonna do it on an even keel though, because I don't want to break out into a coughing fit.
Let me set it up for you. Hit the intro.
You're gonna tell me that with all of the wealth of talent that you have at your disposal for the Women's Royal Rumble, that the best you could do at number 26 or whatever it was to bring out fricking Santina Marella. I couldn't believe it. I chucked my clipboard across the living room when that happened, because this is not 2004 anymore. You have plenty of people in your employ, and I'm not talking about the ones that are injured, because the first couple of names that I came up with must not be recovered from their injuries yet. I'm talking about Nia Jax. I'm talking about there's some other people that have concussion issues going on right now and things of that nature. I get the poetry of Beth Phoenix with the bleeding head, by the way, so big ups to you for wrestling that whole match basically with a busted open scalp. And Natalya being the ones to eliminate Santina. But I'm not done yet. You need to let me finish on this. I don't understand how you are incapable of coming up with an actual woman with the skill set that you've searched the world over for to compete in the Women's Royal Rumble. It's a spot where you can show off somebody. It's not a spot where you're going to have this person possibly wreck the outcome or whatever, because I know you're setting up Charlotte to do whatever Charlotte's going to do. I, for one, hated it, and I'm not going to let it, I can't let it go by without making a mention. And I'm sure some people are going to say, oh, well, Brian, it's serendipity because it's a storyline. It's long-term booking. You love long-term booking, not this kind of long-term booking, because the booking in the first place was stupid. Because when it first happened, allegedly you didn't have enough, or you didn't care enough to invest time in these women that were around back in 2004, 2005, or whenever it was. And you thought, oh, geez, we only have 29 people we can rely on. Let's put Santina in a dress. Let's put Santino Marella in a dress. I hated it. It's dumb. It's stupid. You're not going to talk me off this ledge. It's not happening. Rant mode off.
Well done. Well done. Hang on. Having to write with this kind of sucks. I give you 9.5.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. That was really good.
You might want to knock it down to a 9, because I actually struggled to come up with a name. Because like I said, I don't remember who else they were, but the first 3 or 4 names when I was making my show sheet up that I could have thought about, and I don't have it in front of me, they're hurt, or they must not be medically cleared yet, or they're not coming back. But one of my surprises from last week, what's Eve Torres doing? That would have gotten a pop. That would have been a name that, we haven't seen her in a while, and she can still acquit herself the way Kelly Kelly acquitted herself, the way Trish Stratus has acquitted herself in the past, the way one of my others that I got points for in the TL Hopper sheet was Molly Holly. I was shocked as hell when she came out.
As Mighty Molly. I loved it. Loved
A
it.
little rough around the edges, yes, but she looked
Don't care.
great. Everybody was giving her respect. You could tell that they were like really happy she was there. Come up with something else in that vein. Don't give us stupid crap that predates the women's revolution and still sit and say, yeah, but we're all about women and we want to elevate women and all this stuff. Put a woman in the Women's Royal Rumble then, please, at number 26.
May I quickly counterpoint?
Fine.
It's not serendipity that they're doing this. It's vengeance, it's payback, and it's payoff. Because when you look at the long-term evolution of women's wrestling in WWE, you have to go back to that. Because that WrestleMania Royal Rumble was the last true night of the women's evolution, of the pre-women's evolution, because AJ wins the Battle Royal. No. This was Miss WrestleMania. That was WrestleMania 25. Never mind. But that was the beginning of the end, because a couple of years later, they have the Battle Royal. AJ wins, and then the very next night loses the title to Paige. But what you're looking at is you're looking at the biggest insult to the best wrestler from that pre-women's evolution era, Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix got her pay, got her receipt 20 years later, 15 years later, however long it's been. Receipt. That's all it was. It was the receipt. It was the payback. It was the payoff. Did it make sense? Not really. Did I laugh? Yeah. Santina, the Morella character, has always been comedy. It's always been a comedic character. I loved it. I didn't have a problem with it, especially when the Cobra decided to hit himself with the Cobra and GTFO. You and I will agree to disagree on that one, but you know what? Your rant mode on was still really damn good.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you.
I don't do it often. I only reserve it for important, things that I feel need to be aired, and that was one of them, I thought.
And you know what? You did a fantabulous job of it, my dear brother. Let's see. Let's quickly talk some NXT AEW, because we've spent a lot of time on the Rumble and we're kind of getting close to the final countdown. Anyway, dude, let me just say real quick, Shotzi Blackheart's entrance was gangster. Her and that little tank. And I know AEW fanboys, Sammy Guevara tried to get in the Royal Rumble in some little ass tank like that. Guess what? Sammy Guevara ripped off the idea from Shotzi Blackheart, because that's what she did in Evolve. Do your homework. Get off my nuts. Boom. But for me, seeing that, having the contract signing with Adam Cole, and I'm going to go ahead and sign the contract, and I'm going to go ahead, I don't really care. Uh-oh.
Use your blood. That was so cool when his forehead was cut open.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then he wound up bleeding on Goldie.
Yeah.
Because he's like looking at it like this, and a couple drops, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. I was like,
Adam Cole's got the crosshairs on him.
Yeah.
Big time.
I'm hoping, look, don't get me wrong, I love Ciampa. I think he's a great wrestler, but I honestly don't want to see him lose it at Portland. If Ciampa's going to
go on for a while. This could go past WrestleMania if they let it.
It wouldn't surprise me. And you know what? I really don't have a problem with it. I have no problem with Adam Cole as my NXT champion. I'm not tired of him. I wasn't even really tired of Roddy as North American champion, but Keith Lee's just too damn hot right now.
Right.
But in my opinion, you got to get somebody with a face, somebody as a face to take that NXT title, because I'll tell you right now, Balor needs it.
Oh, geez, imagine what he'd do with as the champ right now. Stack of bodies. Gee.
Oh God, yes.
I'll take all your heroes and I'll line them up outside.
Exactly.
And I'll just, I can only imagine
them all laying. Oh my, Balor as NXT champion right now would be a Pied Piper moment where you instantly have fans coming to the building every night because I want to see Prince Balor get his ass whooped.
Right.
I mean, oh my God, nuclear heat on a guy that everybody loves to see work. Imagine if The Miz at his absolute zenith of heeldom was actually really good in the ring.
Right.
I mean, you rarely in this generation of wrestling do we have a guy who is equal parts, I hate you, I want to see you die, here's my money, please let me see him die tonight, and oh shit, he's good in the ring. Ciampa was brilliant as NXT champ. Everybody wanted to see him get murdered. Nuclear heat. I hated the fact that they gave him music.
Right.
God, the dude's music should have been the just vulgar booing of the crowd.
Yeah.
But, it's inevitable. They're going to have to get a face. And to me, it's got to be Ciampa. It's got to be. But I wouldn't mind seeing this carry for a while. I'm also kind of looking forward to what looks like it's going to be Keith Lee, Dijakovic, and Damian Priest in a triple threat. That'll be fun.
That will be.
That'll be fun. That'll be a whole lot of stiffness to it. Like or don't like the Broserweights?
I like them because I know it's only temporary.
Right.
I know that eventually, I know that it can't last forever.
Right.
And I think Dunn and Riddle could be an interesting
feud
for a couple of months, But that match they had with
Grizzled Young Veterans for the finals.
Yeah. That was outstanding. I mean, it was.
GYV is a great tag team.
Yes, and I thought, how many false finishes are we going to have in this match? Then I remember that was another note I put down. I was exhausted after watching that match.
Mm-hmm.
And it does. There's not a lot of matches where I feel like I'm spent. But that one, in some of the sequences they pulled off, it's like the trust you have to have to know. Okay, we're going to do this, and it's going to work. It just amazing. I mean, that could be a match of the year candidate too if we wanted it to be. I don't think it rose to the level of Mustache Mountain and DIY, but still an outstanding.
Definitely stole Wednesday night.
Yes.
Dude, I'm surprised nobody lost damn teeth during that fight. I mean,
could easily have.
There was some lumber being thrown by all four of them. I mean, dude, you got 3 Brits and an MMA guy. Holy hell. And none of them.
Let me ask you a question. is the fact that Riddle is constantly tweeting about Lesnar distracting, or is that something we're actually going to get down the line?
Gonna get it. Apparently, there was an altercation between Riddle and Lesnar backstage at the Rumble, where Lesnar essentially told him, "Stop tweeting about me, stop talking about me, because I'm never going to work with you." And if he's forced to work with him, it's going to look a whole lot like Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose from WrestleMania. I mean, it's just going to look like absolute crap.
I wondered about that because, I mean, it's intriguing, but I wonder if he's not in over his head.
Oh, Riddle's not in over his head. I think Riddle, if it came down to true physicality, I think Riddle could handle his business against Lesnar. But from a worked ring perspective, from a professional wrestling perspective, Lesnar can't touch Riddle. Lesnar can't do anything that Matt Riddle can.
Right.
Who is a better wrestler? Matt Riddle. No question about it. Let's see. What else we got? Like or don't like, 6-man tag match to close out AEW Dynamite between Darby Allin and no, it wasn't 6-man tag. Was it?
It was Darby Allin and Private Party versus Jericho and Santana and Ortiz.
Oh yeah, I like or don't like that one.
Like, and here's what I love about Jericho. As heel as he is not afraid to get in the ring with anybody.
No, he's not.
And he's proven that for the past, 7 months or so since he's become Le Champion.
Le Champion.
He's been in the ring with Darby. He's been in the ring with
Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
Jungle Boy. He's been in the ring. He's been having verbal altercations with anybody you want. He's not one of these guys that won't deign himself to go to this part of the roster, if you will, or this part of the roster over here. He'll talk with anybody. He'll mix it up with anybody.
Mm-hmm. And I love that. I think that's what makes Jericho one of the true contenders for the title of the greatest of all time.
Yes.
I'd put him, honestly, I would put Jericho over a lot of different names over the course of the history. Most prevalently known, Flair. My opinion, the three greatest of all time, in no particular order, are Dusty, Shawn, and Jericho. Maybe Flair, Shawn, and Jericho. Dusty and Rick, neck and neck. But 1 and 2 would definitely be Shawn and Chris. But Chris also realizes that as a 48-year-old champion, he needs to get people ready to work with him.
Right.
Because the more people gunning for him, the better he can look, because he can make these guys look better. Look how amazing he made Darby Allin look. Look how amazing he made Jack Perry look. Look how amazing when he got in the ring with Private Party, what he made Private Party look like. And the Young Bucks did a hell of a job with Private Party too. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
Jericho is the guy with the Midas touch right now. If he touches you, you look like gold. If you put in the work with Jericho, he'll meet you as high as you want to go, and you'll look all that much better. And I love it. I love the work he's doing. I think he is a phenomenal heel. I think he's maybe the second best thing AEW has in totality, behind Moxley. And I never thought in a million years I'd say that. Because when he left WWE as Dean Ambrose, I'm like, fine, I think he's boring. You know what? He was right. It was all Vince screwing him up because damn, he has been just thrilling and entertaining in AEW. But yeah, dude, I mean, like I said, everything Chris Jericho was touching right now, turning to gold. Jim Ross said it best on Wednesday night. He is the Reverend of reinvention.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Yeah, it was a great line, and I'm thinking, yeah, JR, wonder where you picked up that Reverend line. Because you sure haven't said it before Wrestling with Egos, have you? Because before Mr. Jericho, Mr. Roth, before there was a Reverend of reinvention, there was and there still is your Reverend of the Rent. Hallelujah.
Well,
and amen. Get off.
So, would you like to wrap it up this week with a little homework?
Homework! Holy crap, I just realized something. I haven't come up with anything for you, so I'm going to do that while we're discussing this amazing match.
Okay. Well, I'll set the table for you. Given that the Royal Rumble was last week, I came up with a brilliant match for homework. It was from the 2001 Royal Rumble, which emanated from the great city of New Orleans, Louisiana. And it was a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship between Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit. And I believe it was Benoit who came into the match as champion, I think. I can't remember.
Yes.
Benoit
was the heel, Jericho was the face, Benoit was the champ.
Yes. Outstanding match, a match that I know we've both seen dozens of times.
So many times I didn't watch it this week because I'm like, I don't need to watch this. I've seen this match a million times.
But I will say, before I turn it over to you for your rundown and your grade and all that, watching it back this time, I noticed something I've never noticed before. Both guys, to me anyway, because this is still in the relative infancy, I will say, of a ladder match. They looked a little unsure about how to use the ladder and where to place it for certain things. The one that sticks out for me is the ladder's in the ring. And Jericho was going to go throw Benoit into the corner, but he had to stop and reach down, pick up the ladder, and throw it out of the way. So that was what struck me. And I started going until the spot with the walls of Jericho over the ladder.
Ow.
It was there was a little bit of uncertainty with both guys as to, gee, I don't know if I should do this or not.
Yeah, they both. I've always thought that about this.
I'm going to duck out of frame for a second because I realized I forgot to plug my laptop in. So keep going.
Oh yeah, we don't need you losing power toward the end of the show. Like, that'd be awkward as hell. For me, I always thought there was a whole lot of trepidation in this match, and that's something that's always bothered me about it. I mean, it was a snug match. Those guys ate that ladder plenty of times. A lot of headshots to the ladder.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jericho. Now we might have a reason as to what happened with Benoit. I'm kidding. There was a lot more than just that, Chris Benoit. A lot more than that. Let's be honest, it started in WCW, maybe even before. But it was a very hard-hitting match with a lot of psychology. And truth be told, I always thought this was a match that truly elevated Jericho to being a great face in WWE. He was never a great heel until he started talking like this and wearing his suits and being the very methodical Chris Jericho. That's when he became a great heel. And then obviously he's just matured from there and become world class. So for me, that was always one of the cool things about this match, was seeing Seeing the payoff with the walls of Jericho on the ladder, ow, 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 ow. That was just one of those. That's just one of those ladder spots where, okay, yeah, this crap is scripted, but that looks like that hurts.
Right.
Just say. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed seeing. Really enjoyed the reaction of the crowd when Jericho picked up the win, because again, I think that truly kind of set the tone for Jericho as a big time face in the company.
Agreed.
I think the only thing WWE missed out on at that point was giving Jericho a world championship run as a face, because let's be honest, he never had one. He was never world champion as a face. It was always as a heel. When he beat Rock and Stone Cold at the same on the same night, he was a heel. Every time after that, when he was the world champion, it was post ramming Sean's face into the ridiculously expensive Geratron 5000.
Right.
It was always kind of disappointing that he's never gotten a world championship. Never gotten a world championship run as a face. It's kind of disappointing. I'll give it a B, just a straight middle of the road B, because of that trepidation and not really knowing what the crap to do with the ladder, and being unsteady on that ladder. You guys were more unsteady on that ladder than Shawn and Razor were at WrestleMania 10.
True.
There's my take on that one. So, and I've already figured out homework, so I'll let you respond with your final thoughts on the match, and then I will give you your homework. And it's not a cop-out. There is a reason behind it.
Okay. I don't have much to add. Excuse me. So close. The trepidation was the big thing, and I never picked up on that before. Like all the other times I watched it, I never honed in on that. I don't know what made me hone in on it this time, but I'm like, wow, they're kind of unsure of themselves. They're walking on eggshells here. So that detracted from it a little bit, but it's still a great match because those two really brought out the best in each other during that time period. You know, you could go to any of the matches they had through that time in WWE and even before that in WCW.
Yeah.
You know, so I gave it a B+. So a great match. Now I'm interested to see what you've got in store for the homework for this week.
Mine's fun. Again, I do not want you to think that there is a cop-out. This is a cop-out because it could easily be viewed as such. But do you remember way back in the day, in like the early days of the ESPN Classic Network, they would always have these moments that they would call instant classic.
Yes.
What was an instant classic? What was when they showed an instant classic? What was that?
It was a sporting event, a contest that we're going to be talking about this forever, you know, because it was so monumental, it was so momentous that 20 years from now, people are still going to be talking about it.
When they showed it as an instant classic, what was the time frame behind it? How long ago did that particular game or match or whatever, how long ago did that happen?
Pretty recent.
This is our very first instant classic because I'm taking you back to Worlds Collide. This week's homework is DIY versus Mustache Mountain. I want to watch it again. I want to break it down because this, and here's why, Brian, you are the reason. Because you and I have known each other damn near 9 years. Known each other for a very long time, and we've talked wrestling for a very long time. This is one of the first times I've ever seen you truly emotionally respond to a match like, holy shit. So that's why this match has now become our instant classic, our homework for this week. Because number one, your reaction to it was great. Number two, I think it'd be a great breakdown for us. And number three, I'll watch it again. Hell yeah.
Right.
Because there's so many great dynamics in it. There's Mustache Mountain having the momentum. There's DIY having the momentum. There's the fans being completely torn in this. There's the announcers being completely torn in this, because if you listen to Beth and you listen to Nigel, yeah.
Yeah, there's a little homerism.
Huh?
A little homerism.
Yeah, there was some homerism in there. It was a beautiful thing. Yeah, I'm about to say it wasn't Beth and Nigel, but yeah, it was Beth and Nigel. Just there was no Vic Joseph.
Right.
It was Vic Joseph instead of Morrow. But yeah, there's a little bit of homerism in there because there's NXT guys and there's NXT UK guys, and Nigel's pulling for the UK guys and Beth's pulling for the US guys, and it was just a great, fun match. Handshakes at the end. Everybody raises hands at the end. It was the fathers of NXT UK, and I think it was Vic Joseph that said this: the fathers of NXT UK and the flag bearers of NXT.
Right.
Because let's be honest, in my opinion, without any of the four of them, their two particular brands don't exist. Without Gargano and Ciampa, NXT isn't what it is now. Because let's be honest, Triple H built NXT after all of these guys left. Finn, Joe, Nakamura, KO, Sammy, the list goes on and on and on. He built it on the backs. He rebuilt NXT on the backs of one feud, Gargano and Ciampa. He built it on the back of three letters, DIY, because he had to rise DIY all the way here, then fracture it, and then we got, for my money, one of the greatest feuds I've ever seen. For my money, I will put Gargano versus Ciampa up there. I kid you not, with Dusty and Flair, Flair and Steamboat, Hogan and Andre, Rock and Triple H, McMahon and Austin. I'll put it up there with them and say,
yep. Well, I eagerly anticipate rewatching that match, because we're not kidding, boys and girls. That match was it's just an outstanding clinic of tag team wrestling. It's everything we want tag team wrestling to be. So I eagerly await the opportunity to watch it a second time, and maybe a third, and maybe even a fourth.
Oh yeah. We'll watch it multiple times over the week. Quick little note, shout out to the lady upstairs, literally the lady upstairs, because she's already gone to bed. Mrs. Rant Modon picked up tickets for NXT Cleveland coming up in March. Picked up ringside seats, and her reason behind it was not because her husband would have loved to have had ringside seats. She literally said, "I want to see the abs." I was like, "That's funny." And we were watching Worlds Collide, and she went, "Do you realize what I'm gonna do if Balor shows up and he does and we just happen to be on the side of the ring where he runs across the apron during his entrance and kind of plays on the ropes, or it's what I have come to call the look at my dick move."
Right.
Yeah. She's like, "Do you have any idea what I'm going to do if that happens?" I'm like, "I'm leaving. I'm walking back home." And then she had the nerve to make fun of me for crying when it came out. Like,
how are you going to do him like that?
Seriously, you're crying. And I just looked at her and went, "Go to hell." I'm like, "This is my dude."
The lovebird never does that to me. She just lets me, last year Last year when the Saints lost to the Rams in the conference championship game, she just let me have my cry. You know, when the Cubs won the World Series in 2016, she let me have my cry. She was angry about it because she's the Indians fan, but you know.
I called him. I gave him like 30 seconds and then I called him.
Yeah.
I gave him 30 seconds and I called him. I wanted to hear it. I wanted to hear it. I just like, I
a tear
in my eye.
So
shout out to friend of the show, Chris Lemke. When Auburn won the national title in 2010, I didn't get 2 steps off my couch when Wes Byron made that field goal to win it. My phone rang and it was Lemke. She's like, I needed to call you. I needed to hear it, man. I'm a blubbering mess at that point, just like he was when the Cubbies won the series. Blubbering wreck, that guy right there.
True story.
Blubbering. I mean, not like Ric Flair with a tear in my eye, with tears running down my face, like I've just been, you know, I just won the Bachelorette. Or I'm sorry, I just won the Bachelor. Beautiful moment. Well, guys, that's gonna about do it for this week's show. One more major shout out. You're hearing new music from our intro, and also right now. Oh yes, got a nice little bounce to it, nice little slick music. Shout out to local artist, Youngstown, Ohio rapper Ace 500 for all of his support of Wrestling with Egos. He's a big fan of the show. We reached out to him about, hey, can we use some music? Yeah,
can we get some of those beats? We got any of those beats?
And his response, for show, baby. But big shout out to Ace. If you're liking what you're hearing, go to SoundCloud, search him, check out his new project right now, the Chef Goo. Chef Goo is the name of the project. Good shit on there. Hell of a rapper, hell of a talent. Love his work. We've been a fan of him since our old podcast many years ago. We had a nice working relationship with him back then. He's gotten into wrestling, so he's like, hey, let's do something. So the link, I don't have it right now, but I will when it comes time. You guys are looking at it right now at the bottom of the screen. There it is.
And such a hard worker too. One of the hardest working guys we both know. He's always got that nose to the grindstone, putting in that work, and we appreciate you for that, sir.
As we always see on his personal social media pages, keep grinding.
Yes, sir.
That is him from day one. So Ace, we appreciate the music, and I gotta be honest, I love the bounce to it. It's just, as always, it's just got this nice flow to his beats. I know the guys that he works with in the studio have always got good stuff. And I'm really trying not to swear on this. But yeah, shout out to Ace. Appreciate you guys watching as always. Don't feel, you as we've been rambling and talking and all that stuff, you guys have seen the socials, you've seen the email, everything else. Hit us up, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell, all that good stuff. There's our bell. So until next week, we will see you. This has been Wrestling with Egos, and as always, that's our story, and we're sticking to it.